Good morning, good afternoon. There are some of you that are maybe in a different time zone, so I want to say good morning and good afternoon. For those of you who do not know, my name is Marcia Wasserman, and I am the president of this magnificent Mid-Atlantic region. I call this meeting to order. Our region has many talented and wonderful women volunteers who are part of international, region, and our affiliates and sisterhoods. I want to welcome all of them here today. There are so many ladies that it would take too much time to introduce each one of them individually. But on our Mid-Atlantic region website, we will be listing their names so that all of you will be able to see all of our talented volunteers. It is my pleasure now to introduce Debbie Kaner-Goldich. Debbie is the current international president of Women's League for Conservative Judaism and past region president of our region. We have proudly watched her journey through the years. May I introduce our president and our friend, Debbie Kaner-Goldich, to bring greetings.
Thank you so much, Marcia. First, I want to thank you and your executive committee for arranging this informative board meeting. And I know that it will give all of our Mid-Atlantic region members the information to bring back to their sisterhoods, how the region runs, and what Women's League can do for your sisterhood. I am joining you tonight from Israel. I'm here for a few weeks representing Women's League for Conservative Judaism. And I'm with Rabbi Ellen Wollensfields, our executive director. We are having meetings every day with people who do some work for us and the conservative movement. Today, we met with Women of the Wall to participate in the Worldwide Wrap, and it's been a wonderful experience so far. I did want to mention the new magazine, New Outlook, which just came out this week. Many of you have already received it, and I hope that you will read the magazine and become up to date in what it is that we're doing in Women's League. So I want to thank you very much for being here today, and all of you who have a role in your sisterhood, in the region, and on the international level. I thank you for all that you do, and I hope to see you at Convention 23 in Schaumburg, Illinois this coming July. And you will hear more about it in a few minutes, I know. So at this time, I want to acknowledge, I think the next person is Shelley Swabanese, our Region Tour Fund Vice President. Hats off to Shelley.
Thank you so much, Debbie. It's my pleasure to welcome everyone. So, why do we do what we do? Why do we dedicate our efforts, do acts of loving kindness, and in this case, decide to donate to Distributing Dignity? Our history is full of examples of the need and benefit of volunteering and donating. According to my Jewish learning, the term Mipnei Tikkun Olam, meaning in the interest of public policy, is used in the Mishnah, codified 200 Common Era. There, it refers to social policy to protect those who might be at a disadvantage, including the freeing of slaves. We also see this in the Kabbalistic teachings of Rabbi Isaac Luria, considered the founder of the modern Kabbalah, where in describing creation, divine light was contained in special vessels, some of which broke. Those broken pieces were evil and are the core of the material world. The trapped light gave them power. First man, Adam, was supposed to restore the divine light to its rightful place, but his sin interfered. Therefore, good and evil remained mixed in the created world, and human souls became imprisoned in those broken pieces. The repair is the gathering of the light, returning it to its rightful place, and the repair of souls. The goal is to repair the world to a place before disaster and sin. Got that? Now, the meaning of Tikkun Olam is to fix, not undo, the world as we know it. The modern interpretation began in the 1950s and includes tzedakah, giving, gemilut chasadim, acts of kindness, and progressive approaches to social issues. It eventually became reassociated with Kabbalah in the sense that the world is broken and can be fixed only by humans. Rabbis in our community, and in fact our region, recognize the value and importance of volunteering. In his article, South Jersey Synagogue Hires New Rabbi, from the March 10th, 2022 edition of the Jewish Exponent, author Jared Safran, in interviewing new Rabbi David Englander of Congregation Beth El Voorhees, writes of the rabbi's commitment to the virtual as well as the physical door. However, Rabbi Englander believes that volunteer opportunities are even more important, and people want the opportunity to do good. Rabbi Englander wants the opportunity to harness that desire. Volunteering will positively impact the community, and as an added benefit, like-minded people will meet each other. Enabling these volunteer opportunities interests the younger generations, which every congregation needs in order to thrive. But did you know that the act of volunteering and donating has established physical and emotional benefits to the donor as well? In her article for the Mayo Clinic Health Systems, Angela Thoresen, licensed clinical social worker in the Department of Psychology and Psychiatry, writes that volunteering has many health benefits, especially for older adults. Volunteering decreases stress and increases positive feelings by the release of dopamine. By feeling a sense of meaning and appreciation, given and received, this provides a stress-reducing effect. That reduction of stress decreases the risk of heart disease, stroke, depression, anxiety, and just being sick. Volunteers have a lower mortality rate too, as documented in controlled studies. The work done by volunteers enhances their skills and provides an increase in purpose, life satisfaction, and self-esteem. Finally, the act of volunteering increases social interaction and builds a support system based on common interests. Making new friends and strengthening relationships takes place when we participate in a shared activity. Women's League Convention 2023, anyone? Volunteering expands our social network and enhances our social skills, especially important in our post-COVID world. We all need practice in being together and interacting again, and I, for one, appreciate so much more our shared community and connection. So, whether you are volunteering and donating to do good in the world, to cancel the negative impact of Adam's sin, want to benefit your religious community and bring the young people in, or keep your mind, body, and soul healthy and happy while extending your productive and physical life, you know that sage-like sneaker manufacturer? Well, we're not going to use their trademark tagline, so how about let's do it? Start with our program today, Distributing Dignity. We will now hear from our region president, Marsha Wasserman, with her State of Our Region address.
Thank you, Shelley, and thank you, Debbie. Wonderful words from both of you. I am now going to give a brief state of the region. For the last 3 years, our trainings that we do, their summer trainings, have been on Zoom due to the pandemic. There has been something for all attendees. Affiliate presidents, Torah fund chairs, treasurers, financial secretaries, membership chairs, or other VPs. And last year, we had a wonderful public policy resolution session for others. We are always looking for ways to help our members interact with other members who hold similar positions and give them the latest tools and information to make their jobs easier. Women's League Institutes. We are the only region out of 13 regions who host 2 educational programs. Our Women's League Institutes for our members is an opportunity to study with renowned local rabbis, scholars, and teachers. These study programs meet weekly or on Zoom, or now some are in person, and they last anywhere from maybe 6 to 12 weeks. Although there is a fee to attend, we assure you it will be money well spent. The Bernice Oswald Institute program is held in the Philadelphia area, and the Billy Rubinoff Community Study Institute is held in South Jersey. But you can look at both flyers when they're in our bi-weekly message. Region fundraisers. In January, we had our first in-person sisterhood team bingo fundraiser in 3 years, and I hope most of you saw the photos. Our most recent Shabbat message had an article and photos about the fabulous event. Proceeds from our fundraising projects over the last few years are designated to go into a Region Scholarship Fund account. These funds are used to enable our members to attend Women's League Institute Triannual International Convention, which is coming up, and in July, from July 16th through 19th. The Scholarship Fund is for emerging leaders in the regions and affiliate level for convention or to attend the Women's League Leadership Training Workshops. Hopefully, participants who will develop the skills, knowledge, and most of all, confidence to become successful leaders. We should all support our fundraising efforts so that we can continue to develop successful leaders. Our purpose as a region, we are here to support our affiliates and sisterhoods with their questions, concerns, and give them the information they want and need to succeed. We use many types of technology to communicate with our members and sisterhoods. Emails, phone calls, text messages, other messages, snail mail, and in-person visits. We are the go-between from the International Women's League level and our affiliates. It is our pleasure to serve you. So reach out, call us, invite us to your events. And now it is my honor to introduce our immediate past president of our region, Lori Snow.
Thank you, Marsh. After being region president from 2018 to 2021, I've had the fortunate experience to participate in international WLCJ functions. Besides being on the international board, the Torah Fund Cabinet, and the World Community Engagement Committee, I am the WLCJ liaison to Women of the Wall. Women of the Wall's efforts to be able to pray and read Torah at the Western Wall directly affect Judaism and egalitarian progress at Israel as they fight for all Jewish women. WLCJ follows Women of the Wall's efforts as they strive for women's rights in Judaism and religious pluralism in Israel. We have had 2 Women of the Wall events with the Women of Reform Judaism, which have been the first programs held with WRJ. These programs have been some of the most well-attended events held over the last year. Debbie and Rabbi, currently in Israel, are joining Women of the Wall, and I'm just delighted to be able to tell that to you. At the WLCJ convention this summer, we will have a Women of the Wall program and also gather together to watch the monthly Rosh Chodesh prayer service at the Western Wall. Also, as head of our region nominating committee, we will soon be starting our work to find your next executive committee and region board members. If you have any interest in joining our region board in any capacity, please let me know. It is now my pleasure to introduce Susie Markowitz, our wonderful administrative secretary. Susie.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Lori. I am Susie Markowitz, the Mid-Atlantic Region's Executive Secretary. My responsibilities include taking concise and accurate minutes at our executive team and open board meetings. I also assist our president with the agendas prior to the meetings. Through my experience as an executive secretary at the region level, I have honed my listening skills to hear all that goes on with some very strong and determined women and getting the gist or actual meaning of what they're trying to convey. That is why this position is essential to running an efficient organization. At our following meeting, our team has an opportunity to revise and discuss the minutes, so that we are all on the same page. I am available to assist any of our region's sisterhood affiliates by reviewing your minutes and agendas to prepare for meaningful and productive meetings. This past year, I have also assisted with various region programs, and I am delighted to be serving as co-chairperson with Stacy Boyskin for this year's open board meeting this morning. I have previously served as the co-president of Melrose B'nai Israel Emmanuel Sisterhood and currently serve as our Torah Fund chairperson. This is my second term on the Mid-Atlantic executive team, having previously served as Community Awareness Vice President. I would like to now introduce the Mid-Atlantic region's very hardworking Communications Vice President, Barbara Sharovsky. Thank you.
Good morning. The word communication means the imparting or exchanging of information or news. I believe it means more than that. The word community comes to mind. My job is to share with you, the Mid-Atlantic region of Women's League, news and information of our region and of International Women's League. It helps us create a community of like-minded women who want to be in the know about what's happening near and far. Each affiliate and sisterhood has in its power to create its own community of communication. If you would like help to create your own method of imparting news and information within your sisterhood and would like some help, just let me know. I'd be happy to assist. I now pass my mic to Beth Chernoff, Membership Vice President.
Good morning. Your friend asks you, why should I join Sisterhood? We've all heard that question. Every organization has heard some version of that question, especially these days. But if you spend some time on the Women's League website, you will find dozens of ways to answer that question. Would your friend like to learn Hebrew, attend Leadership Institute, engage in creative Judaic arts, join Women's League Reads, connect with Masorti sisters in Israel? Would she like to learn about Broadway and Hollywood with Mid-Atlantic's very own Lois Silverman? Her Zooms are always very entertaining, and that topic and so many others are posted online and available to you all free and a benefit of your membership. But we've come together today to hear about a wonderful program helping women regain dignity. We are women who get enthused by social action and world affairs. So here's something you may not know. Women's League has always been concerned with current issues and Tikkun Olam. We have a strong history of making our voices heard. If you go on the website, WLCJ.org, you will find the complete list of the 209 resolutions that Women's League has passed starting in the 1950s, 5 of which have dealt with gun control and included letter writing and lobbying and even marching. Soon, a new resolution will come out, this one about criminal justice reform. And you'll have a chance to comment on it and help revise it and then vote on it. This could make an interesting program idea. You could invite the community. You can invite someone from the resolutions committee to come speak. You could even be inspired to write your very own resolution on a topic that ignites you. The guide to help you is right on the website. So if your reluctant friend needs reasons to join Sisterhood beyond the usual social aspects and the enrichment and of course the fun, I hope you will emphasize the importance of making her conservative Jewish voice heard. We have so many energetic women among us dedicated to Tikkun Olam, but there is always room for more energy and new ideas. And now I turn the program over to Shelley Schwabenest, our Tover Fund Vice President.
Thank you, Beth. And welcome everyone again. So what do? I send out the Tover Fund reports, do region summer training for Tover Fund, manage the region Tover Fund event along with our very able and enthusiastic committee and volunteers, attend your Tover Fund events as an invited guest speaker, write the Tover Fund articles for our region constant. Oh, that's so strange. I didn't touch anything. Very strange. I don't know where I ended. Anyway, and I serve as the Region Tover Fund cheerleader. I'm also on my sisterhood board, the Tover Fund Cabinet, Women's League Board of Directors, the Membership Committee, and serve on the Chadashot Committee, where my current assignment is reporting on the Tover Fund Stands with Israel programs. Please invite me to talk Tover Fund and contact me if you want any information about our Chazak V'Amatz campaign, Creating New Spaces, Plus 80, or Legacy Society. It is my absolute pleasure to serve as your Tover Fund Vice President. And now I'm so pleased to introduce our totally terrific treasurer, Ariana Burrows.
Thank you, Shelley. As the region's treasurer, my primary role combines the responsibilities of treasurer and financial secretary. I can state Margie Miller's favorite version of a treasurer's report. The Mid-Atlantic region is solvent, including our operating funds and our savings for programming and scholarship funds to help many of you attend the 2023 Women's League Convention this July in Schaumburg, Illinois. Among my recent activities are receiving and acknowledging both general and sponsor registrations for our Torah Fund Founders Day event and our Team Bingo fundraiser. If you, as treasurer or financial secretary, run into any issues or have a question, you're welcome to contact me. In addition, I plan to offer a specialized workshop on aspects of charitable giving, so that you, as treasurer or financial secretary, can be especially helpful in this realm to your president. We'll spotlight charitable cash gifts and gifts in kind. We'll explore what are and what are not charitable gifts, how you ask for and acknowledge a donation, and how you show you value a donor's generosity. Stay tuned for further information. Now, though, I am delighted to introduce the Mid-Atlantic region's amazing Education Vice President, Debbie Zimmerman.
Thank you, Ariana. Hi, I'm Debbie Zimmerman. I am a proud member and past president of Temple Beth Shalom Sisterhood in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and your Education Vice President. I am also a member of the Women's League International Board. I am here as a resource to you if you need ideas, support, or guidance while planning your events and programs. But here are some resources you may not know about. As Beth mentioned, there is a wealth of educational and programming information on the Women's League website. Please reach out to me if you need help in finding the resources you need. We also have a full menu of consulting services available. Consultants will actually visit your sisterhood and present a workshop on a wide variety of topics. Also, there are online workshops and webinars. The next online webinar is titled Hybrid Meeting, Why, When, Where, and Especially How. We've all been stuck in Zoom land. Maybe it's time to start meeting in person and having a hybrid meeting. At this webinar, they'll discuss etiquette and technical aspects of hosting a hybrid meeting. Also, our Sisterhood Without Walls is an online email discussion group called WLCJ Net. Maybe you just have a question and you don't know who to ask. Are you looking for membership advice? Maybe you need some new ideas for fundraisers? Then WLCJ Net would be a great resource. Simply email Lois Silverman at lsilverman@wlcj.org and ask to be put on the email listserv. Similarly, we have a listserv specifically for presidents to share ideas. If you're a president, you definitely want to be on this listserv. Contact Toby Mazer at tmaser@wlcj.org to be added. So here are 3 questions I want to leave you with to help plan successful educational programs. Number 1, why are we having this program? Number 2, what can this program do for our individual women? And number 3, what can this program do for our sisterhood or region? I've enjoyed getting to know so many of you virtually through the pandemic, and I am now thrilled to be able to get together in person and celebrate our successes together. And one more thing. Go Birds! And now it is my pleasure to introduce my friend, Stacy Boyskin, our Community Awareness Vice President.
Thank you, Debbie. Good morning, everyone. I'm Stacy Boyskin. I'm also a proud member and past president of Temple Beth Shalom Sisterhood. I am the Community Awareness Vice President for the region. I am here to share all the awesome programs that our region is having with all of you. Please read the region news every week, and you can see what other sisterhood affiliates are doing for their fundraisers, educational programs, health events, and social advocacy programs. Please reach out to me and let me know about all the fun and interesting programs your sisterhood is doing so I can share it with the region's sisterhoods. I can also help you to connect with other sisterhoods to get the details and program guides and contact people to help you with your events. It is my pleasure to be co-chairing today's meeting with Susan Markowitz. And now I will pass it on to Karen Kuker, the Ways and Means Vice President.
Thank you, Stacy, and good morning. And before I talk Ways and Means, I want to thank Beth Chernoff for the plug for Women's League resolutions. I happen to be the international co-chair of the Resolutions and Public Policy Committee. And since Beth mentioned resolutions, I just want to say that if you're interested and have any questions, I'm always here to talk resolutions. All right, now on to Ways and Means. Well, as Marcia already said, since its inception in 2018, Ways and Means of the Mid-Atlantic region has dedicated substantial effort towards fundraising for the region's scholarship program, as it was already said several times, convention scholarships, Women's League Leadership Institute scholarships, and also some money for region special programming. You will hear more about scholarships and applications for scholarships for convention in the coming months. We have raised money in these last 5 years. We have raised money for two online fundraisers that were done during the pandemic, as well as an online tribute book that we did to raise money to usher in the current administration. And then we've had 3 in-person region team bingo events. 3 weeks ago, we held our 3rd region team bingo program at Tiferet Bet Israel in Bluebell with the TBI Women's League as our host. We had 107 members and guests registered for the event, representing 15 of our sisterhoods. 10 sisterhoods supported the event with donations from their gift shops, which was wonderful. We raised over $3,400 for our scholarship fund. And Melrose B'nai Israel Emmanuel took home the prestigious Matilda Cup for the 2nd time. They are true bingo champions of the region. We appreciate the help and support of so many. We need a host sisterhood for Team Bingo 2024. So if that is something that is of interest to you, please get in touch with me. I'd love to talk to you. Also, Ways and Means is here to assist all of our sisterhoods. If you have a fundraising question or you want to share an idea, we can help. Perhaps you want to do a tribute book. Perhaps you're interested in using the tradition of Mishloach Manot at Purim for fundraising, or you'd like to sell Hanukkah gifts as a fundraiser. Anything at all, we'd love to share ideas with you and we are here to help facilitate your fundraising. So please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. And now I would like to introduce to you Barbara Best-Paschik, our parliamentarian.
Thank you, Karen. Good morning. My name is Barbara Best-Paschik, and I am the parliamentarian for the Mid-Atlantic region. Last year, February 2022, the Executive Committee approved in writing that our bylaws would be amended to read the term of office to begin at the start of the new fiscal year. The signed documents were then shared at our Mid-Atlantic region February 27th, 2022 open board meeting for the board's approval. June 2022, Women's League Conservative Judaism membership approved the new WLCJ bylaws. In August 2022, all the region bylaws needed to be updated so that they would be in agreement with the WLCJ bylaws. This change didn't require a vote since it was already voted on in June. The update to the region bylaws was the inclusion of the proviso, the 2024 term shall be a term of 2 years. The proviso was found in the bylaws in 2 places. First in Article 5, Section 3A, terms for officers. The others placed in Article 6, Section 3, terms for the BOD. The updated bylaws were shared. August 2022, our Mid-Atlantic Region Subcommittee developed a tribute policy and updated and revised the Sunshine Policy. The Executive Committee made many tweaks, and we now have a Mid-Atlantic Region well-defined tribute policy and Sunshine Policy. In addition to working on bylaw changes, I work closely with Marcia to ensure that our meetings run smoothly and on time throughout the year. It is my pleasure to serve as the Mid-Atlantic Region parliamentarian. Thank you. And again, like my colleagues, go Eagles.
I would now like to introduce Karen Cooker and Barb Sharofsky, our chairs for the upcoming convention, with any updates they might have for us. Ladies, you're on.
Hey, Karen, what are you doing this summer? You have any plans? You're muted.
Thank you. That's better. Thank you for asking, Barb. I was thinking about that. I was feeling refreshed and renewed and thinking about hiking across Europe, but I've got this problem with bunions. So I was then thinking that maybe I should go to the Women's League convention.
Women's League has a convention? When is it? Where is it?
It is in Schaumburg, Illinois, outside of Chicago, in the Central Great Lakes region, and it will be held between July 16th and July 19th.
Should I go?
Oh, you should definitely go.
Why? What would he do there?
Well, you can learn, you can pray, you can eat, and most importantly, you can meet a lot of women who, like yourself, are dedicated to Women's League. We even get to welcome a new board of women who will be leading Women's League for the next 3 years. So it'll be very exciting. They've also announced a social action program helping women in Uganda. You'll have an opportunity to donate to this program, which will help these women with prenatal care, safe birth experiences, and healthy babies.
How do I sign up?
Registration will be opening soon, and our region, as has been said earlier today, will have a scholarship program available that can help you get there and help you enjoy the convention.
This sounds amazing. You know, I've never been to Women's League convention. I can't wait. As your madrichot, your guides for all things convention, if you have questions or want information as we get it, Karen and I are available to you. Please don't hesitate to contact either one of us. We'll see you in
Schaumburg.
Thank you, Karen and Barbara. I'm happy to introduce Joni Balderstone to all of you. Joni is the co-founder of Distributing Dignity, an organization that helps women in need by providing them with essential items, tampons, pads, and new bras, because all women deserve to live with dignity. I met Joni back in 2017 when she came to Temple Beth Shalom in Cherry Hill, where she spoke to our sisterhood board, telling us her story and the birth of this wonderful and important organization. Since then, TBS has collected hundreds and hundreds of new bras with tags and feminine hygiene products for DD. A few weeks ago, our region collected many bags filled with new bras and feminine hygiene products at our bingo fundraiser. And all of those bags were delivered to TBS and collected by Distributing Dignity. I hope that after hearing Joni, all of you would consider bringing Distributing Dignity to your sisterhoods and your synagogues. Please welcome Joni Balderstone.
Thank you, Stacy. I just want to apologize at the onset. My throat's a little froggy today, so if I am clearing it, I really apologize for that. What an honor to be with all of you this morning. I'm super appreciative of this opportunity to talk to you. TBS in particular has been a tremendous supporter of ours, and they collected for, I feel like it was like 2 years in a row, you guys had a box out in your lobby, and I would get calls to come and collect the donations. And that box, let me tell you, I'm only 5'1", and that box had to be like 4'10". I don't know, it felt large. And every time I went, that box was super full. And I used to joke that I would have to ask the administrative assistant behind the desk to hold my ankles as I dove down to the bottom of the box to get all the donations out. So you guys have been super generous. We couldn't thank you enough for your support over this time. For those of you who don't have a familiarity with what we do, we are an all-volunteer 501c3 nonprofit, and we provide new bras, underwear, feminine hygiene products, specifically pads, tampons, and liners to women who are in need. We started out focusing on some very specific demographics. That would be women who were housing insecure, or those who were survivors of domestic violence, young women who were in or aging out of foster care, those displaced by disaster. We had a very, very specific list of types of organizations we were helping, and we actually partner with organizations as opposed to going one-to-one with women. So we find out about organizations in the immediate community, in the communities across the United States who could use our support, and we do our best to get them the supplies that they can use. It's interesting because we don't do a lot of public speaking anymore. We did a ton of it for many years in a row. And so my wife and I were catching up this morning and sort of taking inventory of what has happened over the past almost 10 years of doing this. And what we both come to the conclusion is that you start this with sort of one idea in mind, and you sort of evolve over the course of that time and learn about different needs and learn about different communities, all whilst amassing this incredible base of support from not only religious communities, but book groups and schools and Girl Scout troops. And I mean, it's amazing. So if you would kindly pull up the photo grid I have with, has some boxes up at the top just so I can show you. Okay, so not the tidiest of photos for me, but I wanted just to bring this up. So this relates back to the collection that was done at TBS in January, I think in coordination with Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And so at the bottom, right at bottom left, you see my car stuffed with the supplies. And you know, it's so funny, I interject that people say, oh, we have donations for you, and they give you like this sort of vague information, like it's so many bins full, and you know, I never know like what that means, like storage tub bin or what, and I get there and it's like 3 enormous trash cans full of supplies again. Fortunately, they tipped on their own, so I didn't have to dive in. But that bottom left photo is the donations. We took those donations, actually not even back to the warehouse. We took those donations back to our home, that's our living room floor, and started sorting immediately. We had picked up a couple other collections within the same time frame from other groups, and we brought them right home. We boxed them up, and you can see from the top photo, that's 20 boxes that went out probably about 10 days to 14 days after we received the supplies. And those boxes went out to help 3 different partner organizations. They went to 2 that are in Philadelphia and 1 that's in Cambridge, Massachusetts. The organizations in Philadelphia, 1 supports refugees in the community, so they can come in and get some resources. And on top of it, they like to offer the women that they serve some feminine hygiene products if they need them. The other organization in Philadelphia is very near and dear to my heart. We've been supporting them almost since our inception. They're called Sunday Love, and I'd like to also put a plug in for them and put them on your radar if you're ever looking for something else to support. They're like us. One of my friends, she became my friend, started this organization by feeding the homeless on the streets in Philadelphia, and has progressed all the way to the level of now she has a food pantry in Kensington. And I know we always hear a lot of things about Kensington, but what I can tell you is that that is an area also filled with families, and they need supplies. And so she's opened an organization, part of our organization called Greater Goods, where she gives to the community. She also puts word out to people if there are other needs. We were just talking about this morning. There was a woman carrying around a 20-month-old child with her every time she came to the pantry because she didn't have a stroller. And she's like, hey, does anybody have a stroller? And somebody found her a stroller. And that is like the amazing thing about making these connections and talking to one another and having this sort of support network. So the last organization that we supported with this donation in particular was in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and it's for survivors of domestic violence, and they provide housing and programming for them. So I wanted to show this to you first because I feel like obviously it's super relevant because it just happened, but I just want you to see that these donations come in, we match them up as best as we can with the next people that are on the list that need help. And so you know, within a couple of weeks, your brief stop at CVS or Walmart or wherever you picked up your stuff is now in the hands of someone who needs it. So I appreciate that. In addition to that, I need to express to you that a lot of people think about this just in terms of material goods, and they think about it's just a package of pads, it's just a new bra with tags. And we need to communicate with you that it's so much more than that. For you, it is because you go to the store and you pick it up and you buy it. For these teenagers and women, this is a message to them that someone out there in the community that they don't know actually thinks they're worth it. It actually thinks they're worth making that effort, making that expenditure. And that's super important. That is probably just as important as the physical aspect of having a package of pads or the physical aspect of having the bra, is to have that, excuse me, that message sent to you that people care about you, and we see you and we know that you're having a hard time, and we want to be there to just sort of give you a little bit of a help upward to get to the next place in your life. If we could pull up the other photo grid with the purple bags, that would be great. Okay. I wanted to include this because, as I said when we started, we sort of had this idea in mind of who we were going to help. And we have helped those women. But in the interim, what's happened is a lot of school districts or people involved with school districts have reached out to us. And there's a problem we have in this country that we don't always talk about, and that is that we have teenagers not going to school because they don't have feminine hygiene supplies, or they're going and they're embarrassed. And we all can remember being in middle school and the time that we showed up at school and we didn't have something in our backpack, and we had that experience of being embarrassed. You know, that's a tough time in your life anyway. And to have to go without the supplies that you need right as you're receiving this really, really critical part of your education. We started this organization sort of in honor of my mother, who had many wonderful attributes and was a very philanthropic human being. But what I never talked about before about her was that her big thrust was also education. And she used to raise money to send women who had children back to college. That was her thing. So when we started getting contacts from school districts, it seemed really symbiotic for us to work with them because obviously education is important. So these photos in particular are from a Philadelphia school district who reached out to us and said, we have a large population of students here, and they are housed in homeless shelters, which sort of floored me because I don't know. it's not, I don't want anyone in a homeless shelter, but there's something about a child in a homeless shelter that's really, it's heart-wrenching for me. So they said, what we'd like to do, if it's possible, is, when they're in during the school year, we can get things to them. They can come to us and say, I need this, I need that. And if we have it, we give it to them. Excuse me. But over the summer, they're on their own and the school isn't open and they don't have access to the nurse, to the counselor, to the pantry, to whatever's going on in that school. So they reached out to us and we worked together. And what you see there are, we gave them enough supplies to fill 100 bags for their students to take home so that over the summer, they wouldn't have to worry about having supplies. And not only did we fulfill the request for the 3-month supply, but we actually gave them 5-month supply. And my thought behind that was, first of all, we received an incredible amount of generosity from those we asked for support from. They were tremendous. All I have to do is say it and people respond. But what I wanted to do was, knowing they were living in a shelter environment, I wanted to make sure if one of their friends was there, or if there was another adult there that needed supplies, that they could share what they had with them and they would have plenty to move forward through the summer. So that was a pretty amazing project to work on and very humbling. They were super grateful. We also provided that school for them to keep in their stock. We ordered all sizes of underwear for the little girls there. This was in elementary through 8th grade. So kindergarten through 8th, they had a supply of underwear for any students that needed it. And we also gave them a supply of pads to have on hand just on a regular daily basis. So something we don't think about is a lot of these teachers, social workers, caseworkers, first of all, they're not getting paid very much. We know that. But secondly, what they'd end up doing is subsidizing the needs of those that they're helping out of their own pockets. And so this gives us the opportunity to take a little bit of the burden off the teacher and provide them with some supplies so they can have students that are in the classroom, ready to learn, feeling confident and comfortable and not embarrassed and clean and all the things that are important. And this was an opportunity for us to do that. We can pull back that picture if that's okay. So in addition to helping that school district, we've been involved for a while in helping the Crazy Horse School, which is on a Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. That came to us a few years back. Someone reached out to us and let us know that at this school in particular, they're about 2 hours away from the nearest Walmart. And if you know anything about South Dakota, you know it can be brutal for its weather in the wintertime. And there's an organization that exists called Lakota Kids, and they were helping that reservation in general with things like blankets and heaters and heating oil and all the things that they needed to get through the winter. But again, they were finding that their teenagers were not going to school because they didn't have product. So this year we've been able to support them again. We just sent out a big shipment to them not long ago. And they asked for very specific product, which we're happy to fulfill. But that's another one that you think about these young women and you want so badly for them to have what they need to get to the next place in their lives. And that's what these efforts are really providing them with. And I wanted to talk too about, since I mentioned it, about specific requests. So this is the other thing we learned over the course of time. So just to know about me, I live in a 2-woman household and I am very much a practical and utilitarian type of human being. So when I shop for products and things for myself, it's like, how functional are they? I wasn't really thinking about how pretty they are. I was just thinking, are they going to do what they're intended to do? And when we started this organization, we started to get donations of bras, and I was like, wow, I didn't know this existed, and I didn't know that existed, and I didn't know, And at first, I went through this feeling of like, is this going to be okay? Are they going to want this? And what we found out was obviously, of course, they want it, because you want something pretty and you want to look nice and you want to feel good about yourself. And that's the other piece to this, right? Is building up some self-esteem and making people feel, for lack of a better word, normal, to give them some sort of normal existence, which is why, we often get asked if we will take gently used bras. And while I totally am about recycling and repurposing, the important thing for us here is to show that these women that they're worthy of something brand new. They should have their own, they should have their own bra, should have their unopened package of pads and tampons that they can use, that's theirs. It makes a difference. It totally makes a difference. Something else that we participated in recently, we have a dear friend up in New York City who's very civically active, and he is fighting injustice as much as he can, God bless him. And he came across this population, I believe he said in Queens, and they have tons of refugees from Venezuela there. And they in fact have like a school that's almost like comprised completely of these students and their families. And they, during the day, are living in homeless shelters. Well, at night, they're living in homeless shelters. During the day, they're going to school. So what we did for him was he actually organized a dinner for hundreds of students and their families. And he and his friends cooked it in some restaurant kitchens in New York City and served them on Christmas Day. And we shipped up to him cases and cases of pads and liners and tampons to pass out to the women and teenagers that were attending his meal. And stuff's gone. So, you know, they needed it and they were grateful for it. And we were in a tremendous position to be able to supply that stuff for them. So that's a lot of what we do. We're constantly sort of reassessing. We ask these organizations that we work with what specifically would be best for their populations. I don't pretend to know what you want to wear, what you prefer. I want to know from the people that are in contact with those women that need help, what they need. And that's why we try to get them the items as specifically as we can, because we don't want to waste the resources. And we also don't want to send you something that you're not going to use. I just talked with someone who was working with some local refugee families who's asking for some help. And I said, you can get me the sizes, get me all this information. We'll make custom gift bags for each of these women with their bra, the sizes, with their underwear. They like pads, they like tampons, whatever they like. I said, and if you're really comfortable, I said, please ask, do they like underwire, not underwire? I said, because there's nothing worse than being someone who doesn't like an underwire bra and getting an underwire bra or vice versa. And she was like, wow, you're really specific. And really, I said, look, there's no use in giving someone something that they're not going to wear or that's not comfortable. So I mentioned that to you because I want you to know that we take the resources very seriously and we take the communication very seriously. I also just wanted to talk, I took some notes when I signed on to the meeting earlier and was really in particular enjoying what Shelley was talking about at the beginning of the program. And I was about some of the things that she talked about fixing the world and acts of kindness and like-minded people meeting each other and community and connection and sisterhood. And really that encapsulates all of this, right? I mean, people always ask me, you know, what's your favorite part about doing this? And yes, giving is great. It's amazing to be able to change a life here and there, even in a small way. But as I'm getting older, the thing that really matters to me the most is the connection to everybody else and to find that there actually are like-minded people and that we do have a community, big and small. And it's the relationships that I've gained from doing this have really improved me as a person. And I'm grateful for that too. And of course, this shouldn't be about me, but you know, at the end of the day, it's a takeaway for me that I get to meet with exceptional human beings. And I know you guys do a lot of great work and you have a lot of options as to what organizations you can support. And I can just let you know that it's very meaningful to me to have your support. And we're going to do the best that we can with the resources you provide with us to get them in the hands that we need to get them to. In particular, I would just say, obviously we accept all the things that are on the list that we donate, but pads are being asked for at probably a 3-to-1 ratio for tampons. I can't tell you exactly why that is, but I can tell you probably it's a lot because we're helping younger people. It's what the people who serve them are comfortable distributing to them. I can tell you there are some cultural restraints for some people that they will only use pads. So generally speaking, our donors tend to give tampons because our donors tend to use tampons, but our recipients tend to use pads. So we put the word out there that if you're going to start a new collection, we would love to have pads. In particular, if you can do the ultra thin, just because teenagers are not a fan of the maxis, even though most of us grew up and that was all we knew, but they prefer the thin ones. but that's where our need is. Those are some of the newer populations that we're serving. And I would be happy to answer anybody's questions. I don't know how long I've been talking. I tend to get lost in the conversation. So, but I'd be happy to answer anybody's questions.
If
And
anyone,
Stacy, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, if anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat and I will relay them.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
by the way, Stacy, now that I see you, I do recognize you. So I apologize. COVID sort of like erased everything that happened pre-COVID. And so I'm just rebooting the system now. So
Yes, I remember you because obviously we did this project with our sisterhood, but I also remember, Debbie, I'm sure you remember too, just sitting around in the social hall in our U-shaped table unit. And I think we didn't have a dry eye in the house. We were all so emotional. And I remember feeling my heart in my stomach and just hearing your story, and we couldn't wait to get started. And my daughter actually came in to decorate this big purple box that we put in the lobby. We were so excited to buy like ribbons and wrapping paper and wrap up our DD box. And it was pretty nice. We enjoyed it.
yeah. And you know, there's something, again, a conversation I was just recently having is, you know, we have to make this a positive thing. You know, I was talking with a college student the other night who was interviewing me because she was trying to think about product development. Is there anything we can develop that will be easier for women who live on the street to use? And that's a really tough question. I mean, I distribute to them, but I don't live there. You know, I don't know. But we were talking about why period poverty is something that we're just figuring out. And I said to her, well, look, here's the good news. You reached out to me almost 10 years after I started doing this. I said, so you've heard of it and you know about it. I said, and the important thing is that we keep talking about it and we make it normal because it's natural. Like, I know sometimes we're raised to be very close to the vest about things that are supposed to be intimate or personal or private. And the reality is it's biology and it's natural and it's going to happen whether we talk about it or not. And so the more we become comfortable with just referring to it in that way. And there you are with your daughter sharing a moment of decorating a box, of putting some beauty, not even just talking about it normally, but actually celebrating and putting some beauty to the opportunity as one woman to another woman to say, I get it, I understand, here's what you need. Sisterhood, right? I mean, that's really it. I mean, that's really it. And that's what I say all the time. It's the community, it's the sisterhood, it's, you get it. Like, and it's not that men don't donate, because they do. We have some very generous men that donate, but they will never be able to fully understand what that feels like. And you get it, you know, you absolutely get it. So
I did get a few questions.
sure.
They want to know where to send these items once they're collected. Let's say a sisterhood has a decides to do this program as a project. I guess we can provide, I could certainly send everyone on the list the information, your name, phone number, and email, and you'll be able to make arrangements. Is that correct?
Yes, just depends on how far away you are. So within a certain distance, if we can arrange it, we can do an evening or a weekend pickup. If you know, you're not terribly far away. If you are far away, we can talk about shipping options. The last option that we have is depending on where you're located. Some of our partner organizations might be nearby, and we might be able to coordinate getting the items from you right to a partner organization directly. So if you're thinking about doing a collection, please send me an email. We'll do our best to see ahead of time before you start what would be the best arrangement for you and maybe the best item to collect if we're going to be that specific. So I'm a little slow on the email just because I've been working full time now, and that's provided a bit of a challenge for me, but I will get back. Stacy can attest, eventually I will get back to you. And if you give them my cell phone number, text is a really good way to just be like, hello. So, but yes, absolutely.
Also, someone wanted to know if you're in need of certain sizes of bras and panties. And whether
Um,
just plain cotton panties would be the type that you would.
Yeah, so we ask in reference to the underwear that if you please can get us the ones that are already prepackaged, like, 3 or 6 in a pack, little rolled up Hanes, Fruit of the Loom, that kind of thing. We accept all sizes of that, anywhere from size 5 all the way through to about size 9. We have larger ones in stock, but we don't get the request for really large underwear often. So any of that is fine, as long as it's pre-packed. And then we can pass it along to the organization and they can decide, is the woman going to get the whole pack if they can afford to do that, or are they going to break it down? But we try not to disrupt any product as much as possible because we want to keep it clean and, and intact. As far as bras go, we either can use really small or really large. So like we get a lot of requests for like a 32C, which is really tough to find. Maybe sometimes in the junior department you can find that, but those are really tough to find. And then of course we get, it's harder and less donated for people to give us anything in the 40 range and cup sizes D, double D, that kind of stuff. So we always ask for either the really tiny ones or the really large ones because we get a lot of 36Cs, we get a lot of 38. So, and they're easier for me to find, honestly, so.
Okay. Another question is, do we have any corporate or retail sponsors we should be supporting? Also, do you have local satellite locations so that you can save on the shipping expenses?
So, I would say we don't have anybody who's supporting us right at the moment. But we have in the past been supported by Lola. So if you're a tampon buyer and you value organic tampons, I would throw out Lola's name to you. They were very generous with us for many years in a row as far as supporting us. As far as satellite locations go, we usually, before COVID, we had a lot of drop boxes set up in different businesses around our community. Some of those have been curtailed because of people don't want random people walking into their facilities unless they have a purpose. We have in Maple Shade, New Jersey, we have a drop box at a gynecology office at Advocare. This coming March, we'll have a drop box at the Cherry Hill Library that will be accessible any of the hours the Cherry Hill Library is open. So if you want to, if you're nearby or you want to make a trip to the Cherry Hill Library, you can definitely drop stuff off through the month of March there. They do it because it's Women's History Month. We do it because we run a campaign called March Padness to try to get as many packages of pads donated as possible. So that's an opportunity. Those are the only two that exist at the moment. But as I said, if you have a volume of stuff, reach out to me. We'll figure something out. And if any of you are involved, at least locally for me, near Cherry Hill, and you have a lobby or somewhere you're willing to stick a box, either for the month of March or at some other point in time, a couple weeks, you want to be a drop site, that would be amazing too. That's helpful. We have a warehouse, but that's not something people can walk in and out of. And I have a home, which a lot of people come to drop stuff off to, but I don't have a specific location that I can open up to people generally to have them drop stuff off. So we also have an Amazon wish list. I think that was going to get thrown into the minutes or somewhere at some point in time. If you order off the Amazon wish list, it gets shipped directly to us. So that's also an opportunity as well.
That's great. Someone asked, what was the catalyst for starting this? Was there one episode that triggered you?
Such a trigger. I'll give you the abridged version. I was part of an outreach community for a church that I belonged to eons ago. And we became aware of a homeless day center in Camden, New Jersey. And that day center gave people the opportunity to write a resume, to do some job application and preparation, in addition to feeding them and providing them with showers and other things. So what we thought would be really helpful is to collect gently used business clothing and bring that into them so that if they got an interview, they would have something to wear. We did the collection, we dropped the items off, and a woman pulled one of my committee members over and said to her, "Thank you for the suit, but I don't have a decent bra to wear underneath it." And at that moment, sort of eyes were wide open. So we said, okay, so you need bras. what else do you need? You know, because I don't know, some of you are local. We're donating to IHOC, which, you know, has, they do give toiletry boxes for the homeless. So we were filling them ourselves, like toothpaste, shampoo, deodorant, whatever. So we said to her, what else do you need? And she's like, well, we get toothpaste and we get deodorant and we get shampoo, and no one ever donates pads, tampons, and liners. And the light bulb went off again. And I thought, here I am. I'm in a 2-woman household. We've been buying tons of this product for a long, long time. And we never thought to donate them. And I will flash forward to tell you that when I was talking to this college student the other night, I said to her, I still don't know why that is. I still, even after 10 years, I still can't figure out why every time I bought them for myself, I never thought to buy them for someone else. So that was the catalyst moment to do that. We did that as a household for a while. We were doing Mardi Gras parties each year to have people donate bras and pads. See, I like a little play on words. I'm guilty of a dad joke here and there. So we did these at parties for a while, and as I mentioned before, we would get a lot of questions from people about, we take gently used bras. And at that time, I say to people, I went to the wisest and most philanthropical woman I knew at the time, which was my mother. And I said, you know, I really want to give these women something new. And she said, Joni, just because these women are in need doesn't mean they don't deserve the dignity of a new bra. And so we stuck with that. Unfortunately, she passed away not long after that, which was the catalyst for moving this from sort of a personal outreach to actually establishing a nonprofit, which we did in 2013. So.
And Karen Bellina has put up the contact information if you go into our meeting chat. And it has the information for Amazon as well as her organization's address. So if anybody has any questions, any more questions? No? Okay, I would like to thank Joni for her time, her morning on Sunday, for coming out. And I'd like to thank Stacy, who knew about her, which is wonderful. And I was able to share this with us. And I hope that some of our sisterhoods, I like the March Padness very much. I think that's a really wonderful name. I mean, it's wonderful. And I know we're going to have a sisterhood meeting in ours, and perhaps we will talk about that at our next sisterhood meeting. I like that idea. We're in Philadelphia. Well, we're outside of Philadelphia, so we'd have to make arrangements with you to get them to you.
Yeah, as long as people are amenable to weekend, I can get there. But you know, but during the day we're both working, so it's a little tough. But no, thank you to everyone. I really appreciate it, and Stacy for looping me back in again. No, I look forward to working with all of you again, and I appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions or want to talk about this, just please reach out to me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now, Marcia.
Thank you, Joni. And I want to thank Stacy and Susie for getting on board with this worthwhile program. And I do want to say, in our region and other regions, we have a lot of women that decide they don't like the cold, so they winter elsewhere. This might be a project that their second sisterhood or temple might be interested in joining and getting on. And I don't think all of us realize just how quickly our circumstances can change. Like, we think we've got everything and we're set with things, and then something happens and you suddenly realize you don't have that bra, or you don't have the socks or the underwear. And to know that there's an organization like this, that we as women and very vocal, caring women could help, would maybe make a difference in a number of people's lives. So I want to thank you. I want to thank Debbie Kaner-Goldich for joining us from Israel today and giving us her remarks and about the convention and other information. And I want to thank Shelley for her meaningful Devar Torah, because it sounds like I know what she said hit a lot of us on many levels. Karen Bellina for our technology. Thank you, Karen. Your immense talents and all made this run smooth today. And once again, I've said it before, but to my wonderful co-chairs, Susie Markowitz and Stacy Boyston, who put this meeting and program together for all of us to learn. And most of all, to our guest speaker, Joni Balderstone, and this wonderful Distributing Dignity organization, which until I started talking to Stacy and Susie, had no idea this existed, and that it could be a program that sisterhoods even though they're located mostly in South Jersey, I would like to really see maybe a few sisterhoods or temples in the Philadelphia area try and do it. And like March would be a perfect thing. You know, that March Madness or whatever the name is, a cute little play on the words. And I want to thank Margie Miller for her help to me and to being our region advisor. Margie, thank you so much for your help and support. Remember, we know that in life, anything can happen that can change our lives in the worst way. Knowing that there is an organization that we at the affiliate sisterhood level can join together and help support to make positive changes by simply donating needed bras and feminine hygiene products to these women and young women. And to hear that they worked with the Philadelphia school system. If we can maybe get that in more schools available, because I remember growing up, there used to be a vending machine and you used to have a nickel or a dime if you needed a product. And if you didn't have a nickel or a dime, you were in trouble, because back then the nurse usually didn't have those products. So it would be wonderful if we could get them into some of the other schools where there are students who, even if they have the money, they just sometimes don't realize that it's suddenly going to happen and you're at school and you need something. And I want to most of all thank all of you, my exec team, for being there, working together, giving wonderful information. We may be doing an article just highlighting all of the things you do so that it would go out to all of our readers and what your job is and who to contact. And most of all, thank you for giving up your few hours of your Sunday morning to be with us. And this day, I know a lot of you have plans for Super Bowl, whatever team you're rooting for. Of course, I think most of us are for the Eagles, but whatever your team you're rooting for, please go out, have a good time, be careful, wear your mask, because some places are having COVID increases. So please be careful. So with that, I call, if there are any questions, any further questions or comments from anybody, I don't see any. And as I said, everything is in the chat if you were able to copy things down. And with that, ladies, have a good Sunday. I now close the meeting. Thank you.